Chapter 1. One Cold Christmas Holiday. It had been a very cold winter already, and we weren't yet into January. It was that week between Christmas and New Year, 10 Christmases ago, when the world seemed a stranger, surreal place, as we slowly recovered from the festivities of Christmas and lumbered almost sleepily towards the revelry of New Year's Eve. Whether by coincidence or design, I really can't remember, but on the 29th day of that very cold December, with snow that had fallen a couple of days too late to call it a white Christmas lying on the ground, and with nothing better planned for the day, my wife suggested a visit to our local dog pound. I'd earlier bought a very large box of chocolates as a gift for the staff at the pound, from where we'd adopted a number of our family of rescue dogs in the past. It seemed the least we could do to say a small thank you to the girls who worked there, doing their best to try to make their often frightened and scared residents feel as comfortable as possible, given the circumstances in which they had to work. The accommodations at the pound weren't luxurious by any standards, but at least the dogs held there were sheltered, fed and watered, and safe from harm, and the owners of the pound operated a strict no-kill policy at that time. If a dog couldn't be rehomed in a reasonable period of time, they would often contact the specific breed rescue society, who would collect the dog and take it to be rehomed through their own organizations. So, wrapped up against the cold, my wife and I, accompanied by our two girls aged 7 and 8 and both in junior school, piled into the car and set off on the 14-mile journey to the pound, with our present neatly wrapped and decorated with ribbon and bow. On arriving at the pound, we parked in an almost deserted car park. Obviously, with the post-Christmas sales in full flow, looking for a rescue dog to adopt was a pretty low priority for the majority of the local population. The girls on duty were pleased to see us as always, and expressed surprise and gratitude that we thought to visit them with a present. One of the girls, who we knew quite well after numerous visits to the pound, informed us that since Christmas Eve they'd received over 200 dogs into their care, a staggering number of innocent, unwanted souls. We found it hard to believe that so many people could heartlessly dispose of family pets in this way. As we were told, although some of the dogs had been handed in by their owners for various reasons, the vast majority had simply been cast out by their owners, some having been found and handed in by members of the public, with most having been picked up and delivered to the pound by the dog warden service. Though we hadn't gone there that day with the intention of adding to our family of rescue dogs, at that time I think we had 11 in our home, we were encouraged by our friend Lisa to take a tour of the facility. She explained that due to the numbers received, they'd had to set up overflow accommodation, using outbuildings and even part of the stables that form part of the property. So off we went, and within a minute of leaving reception we were being assaulted by dozens of pairs of pleading eyes and wagging tails, all virtually pleading to be taken out of their pens and given a new home. Some were less active than others, lethargic and often cowering towards the back of their pens, obvious victims of cruelty or some form of abuse. It's almost impossible to resist the appeal of some of those dogs, and I'll never understand how some people can visit such establishments and leave empty-handed, saying they couldn't find one they liked. Anyway, we continued our tour, and after leaving the regular kennel accommodation behind, we entered the overspill areas, the barn and stable areas, where the staff had done a great job in erecting dozens of secure but temporary living areas. We could hardly bear the heartbreaking sights of so many dogs, abandoned and unwanted over the biggest holiday period of the year.